be included into a fraternity that shows the players all the years that they've played, the passion that they've played. Just honestly took my breath away.
Nearly 30 years after playing his final game at Oklahoma, Brian Bosworth is a Hall of Famer. Other notables joining the Bos among the College Football Hall of Fame class announced on Friday are former Nebraska standout Trev Alberts, Heisman Trophy winner Ricky Williams, and coaches Bill Snyder from Kansas State and former Ohio State coach Jim Tressel. Hello everyone, I'm Ray Crawford in our Campus Insider studios, and joining us to discuss those in the class and those left out as well, our associate editor Rich Cirminiello. So Rich, Brian Bosworth was outspoken against the NCAA, suspended, kicked off the Sooners for steroid use. What changed where enough voters thought it's been long enough, it's time to put him in the Hall of Fame?
Well, I got to tell you, Ray, this decision today takes my breath away as well. I didn't expect it. It's been, as you mentioned, 30 years since he stopped playing. And, you know, I think the 30 for 30 documentary that was done on Brian swayed enough voters to think that he's remorseful for the way he handled himself, the renegade behavior in Norman. There's a kind of an air of contrition. We saw more Brian and less Boz as he got older, and obviously what he did on the field warranted induction a long time ago. And you know, the voters, I just think that he paid his penance finally, and I'm glad to see that he's in the Hall. Yeah,
a very apologetic tone in that documentary, as we all saw. Other Heisman winners like Danny Werfel and Ron Dane around the Ricky Williams era were elected 2 years ago. So what put Williams over the top this year?
You know, I think there's a bit of a softening amongst the voters who are looking at more so what takes place on the field than what happens off the field. We know about Ricky Williams and some of the drug problems that he's had. We know about the ill-fated NFL career that he's had. But when you look at what Ricky did as a Texas Longhorn, as a running back, as a Heisman Trophy winner, I don't think there's any denying that he deserved to be in the College Football Hall of Fame. So what I see here is a softening amongst the voters, and I hope that's a trend that continues in the future.
Interesting, the softening when you see Johnny Manziel and Jameis Winston when their turn comes around to be eligible. So while those guys receive the good news, there are others who will have to wait until next year despite impressive college careers in their own right. So who got snubbed this year?
You know, it's tough. I mean, this is such an exclusive club. I think this is arguably the most exclusive Hall of Fame club that we have in American sports. So it's kind of tough, and there's some really good candidates. I have 4 of them. Number 1 would be Rocket Ismail. I mean, for me, arguably the most explosive individual player that we've ever seen. But the numbers are never going to be there because he just didn't touch the ball enough. And number 2, I've got Eric Crouch, one of my favorite triple option quarterbacks, prolific on the ground, prolific as a passer. I think Eric Crouch at some point belongs in the Hall of Fame as well. And number 3, one of my favorites, Ray, is Troy Davis, the former running back at Iowa State. I mean, he's been overlooked throughout his entire athletic career. This is an opportunity for the College Football Hall of Fame at some point to put him in. And finally, at number 4 is Eric Dickerson. If you talk about running backs who dominated their era, and in the case of Eric, it would be the early 1980s. No one was better than Eric Dickerson. And as we see Bosworth going in, I kind of hope that this portends that Eric Dickerson could join the Hall as well at some point.
Kind of opening the doors for some others. All right, Rich, great stuff as always. Thanks.
Thanks, Ray.
Future Hall of Famers could be made Monday night in Dallas. Our team is in place from now until the presentation of that championship trophy. Check out our coverage of the Bucks and Ducks on CampusInsiders.com.